Talk, happy Friday. I am Sarah of Expat in Croatia, and this is a 5-question Friday. Every Friday at 5 o'clock Croatia time, I answer 5 questions.
It's a happy Friday.
It's a happy Friday. Too much rakia. Michael's fault.
We haven't had any rakia yet.
Don't tell that to them. They don't know that. We had a lot of rakia. That's why this is happening.
Yes, that is why. No, don't say that. I was told I wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay. And scene. Every Friday at 5 o'clock Croatia time, I answer 5 questions from people who have sent them in on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, expatinCroatia.com, my consulting sessions, Cam's consulting sessions, and people who hide them in my Sunday crossword puzzle. Today is a very special episode, as they all are, but today I'm here with 2 of my favorite people in the Split area, Michael Freer and Nikolina Kukoč of Split Tech City. So we are at Smartspace Co-work here in Split. Thank you to everyone who came out and braved this terrible weather. Yes! It is not sunny here. So glad that you're here. Today we are going to be talking about startups and investments and incubation and all kinds of lovely stuff. So how about we go ahead and dive in? Oh, I should tell you who these people are, shouldn't I? I'm prepared for that and everything.
Oh, wow.
So many of you may know who Michael Freer is. He has been on 5 Question Friday. We were just counting either 3 or 4 times.
3 times, I think.
It could take like days to tell you everything that Michael is involved in, so instead I'm just going to kind of boil it down as it relates to what it is that we're trying to accomplish here today. So he mentors at the Student Incubator, he hosts and organizes startup events, and also runs social enterprise projects.
Correct.
Yeah? Is that all right? Yeah. Oh, super duper. Okay, Nikolina of Split Tech City over here. So first, let me tell you what Split Tech City is, in case you do not know. It is the first formal association of Split's tech community, desperately needed. As part of Split Tech City, Nikolina organizes events, writes about tech happenings, interviews people within Split's tech community, and cries when Facebook and Instagram misbehave, which is something I do too.
Yeah. We all do.
Yeah, we all do. Okay, Imo, so let's set a baseline for this conversation. Okay. We're going to start real simple, okay? What is a startup? Let's say that I want to open a hardware store. Is that a startup?
Okay, so for me, you know you have these words and people have different meanings for them. For me, a startup is an early stage business that has the ability to scale quickly, which is why we often think of tech companies when we talk about startups. Because a lot of tech companies, especially software, can go global, yeah? Whereas if you wanted to start a hardware company, which can also be a startup, it's a little bit harder. Like, people generally get scared of hardware companies. If you compare the amount of software startups to hardware startups, I don't know what the ratio is, but like in Split, how many hardware? We have Pavio and Stayora include.
Yeah.
That's it, maybe. Yeah, Dr. Spot.
Yeah,
Dr.
Spot.
Now, so.
You want to unpack that?
It's an automatic drinks pourer, so it knows what measure to pour and it tracks it in your inventory.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a smart tap, I think it's called.
Smart tap.
Something like that?
Yeah, smart
Okay,
tap.
let's call it that.
Yeah.
Trademark.
Just make sure you get it in the UK. So, does that mean that it's really what characterizes a startup is because it has this ability to really kind of scale quickly?
Yeah, that's why investors love them.
And involves, in a way, solving a global problem. Yeah, because, you can scale in a small geographical setting, but what big time investors are looking for is the possibility to go global.
Yeah. And what a lot of people get confused with is when they think of a startup, they think any early stage company, yeah, which is any company. It could be a hairdressing salon, it could be a print studio, it could be a co-working space.
That's not a problem that hasn't been solved. So, like, for example, if you have a company that does websites, builds websites for people, that's not a startup, because in a way building websites has been going on for quite some time, so it's not a new problem that is being solved.
Aha. Okay. I gotta be honest, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I really didn't know. Like, I was asking this question for myself as much as anybody out there who did not know the answer to that. You know?
Yeah.
So
I think even this is quite a fluid definition that evolves in terms of,
Well, and the other thing is, some people might want to have a startup because they think, okay, this is an innovative solution that can scale globally, but actually, in the end, it might not be a startup and it might stay locally, which is cool. Yeah. So, think about Expat in Croatia. So you're obviously global in a way in terms of what you offer. But could we rapidly turn that into expat here, expat here, expat here, expat here, where you'd have to bring all those people on? Maybe now with AI there's a way of doing it to a certain degree, but there's not that same automation. And if the content was led by the people, that often helps out with TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of the AI stuff. What other startups have we seen recently? Like going back even to like SpaceX and Tesla, like they were also classed as startups. I don't know whether they are still now, but they're hardware. Uber and Airbnb, like they're some of the famous ones because they could scale a lot of the time because they don't have to bring the people on.
right.
Uber, drivers sign up. Airbnb, rooms sign up. Facebook, we sign up. So yeah.
it's easier to scale that way. You don't have to train people to use your product in a way.
So what are some examples of some Croatian startups?
Ooh.
Infobip.
Infobip's the most famous. Well, no, the least famous one, but the biggest one.
Yeah.
Infobip's,
unicorn.
yeah, it's a unicorn. Do you know what a unicorn is?
Isn't it a $1 billion
Yes.
company?
Valued at over $1 billion.
It's also a nice fantasy animal, just so you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the big ones. Then you have obviously Rimac, supercars, and then some of the ones that are probably lesser known and more local could be like Your Spot, who are doing well with looking at what they do and expanding into other things. You have Slaven who has a couple of them as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Eagro was his first one, and the second one, what was that second one called? I can't remember. It's
Change names.
I don't really know what it does. It's hardware again.
Yeah. You have Barclay that's gone like global. Also won one of the competitions, Get in the Ring. Went to the global edition of Get in the Ring. Won second place there, right? Yeah, in Singapore, and have been going strong steadily for more than a few years now. And
you'll see them everywhere on
slowly,
split. You know when you see Parkio on the ramp?
Yes.
The parking barriers, That's a hardware startup. So they managed to go global, even though it's, like Michael said, more difficult with hardware than with software to scale. But they managed to do that.
Do you think that there are advantages of having a startup in Croatia?
What, are there
Or
advantages?
opportunities?
Are there advantages of being a startup in Croatia, or
Yes.
like because obviously if you create a startup and you have your company for I can't remember how many years it is, and then you sell it, that's tax free in Croatia, right?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. There are things I don't know.
Yeah.
That is one of them.
One
But
of-
I will find out
yeah,
because now I'm curious.
Yeah, I think because it's what's the quotas called? It's like I can't even think in English now, but it's basically the tax you pay when you make a big capital gains tax. And I think if you're selling your company, if it's been around for so long, you don't pay any tax on that.
That's pretty
So
sweet.
actually setting up a company here, if your intention is to sell it, then you can actually do very well that way. If your intention is to just nurture it and grow it and all of that stuff, then it's then you look at all the taxes. But if you want that big payday at the end, then it can be an advantage to have it here. I don't know about other countries, to be honest with you, and their rules, but I know people that have exited, which means selling their business, have been like, cool, I don't pay anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There are a few ways to get money out of it. We won't get derailed on that today, but there are a few ways that you can get money out of a Croatian company. They're actually quite advantageous, which is quite nice. So yeah, that would track with all of the other advantages you have of that. So let's talk about tech. Because what I've been reading
I just thought, no, it said moving to Split from Silicon Valley. Thanks for the discussion. Delectable home. Nice.
Oh, hi, Silicon Valley person.
Yeah.
Welcome to Split.
Welcome to the, what's it called?
Mediterranean Tech Hub.
Yeah, the Mediterranean Tech Hub right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
Yes.
So tech,
yeah, tech. So, based on what I've been seeing, what I've been reading, it does feel like Croatia is on the verge of becoming a tech hub.
Okay.
Do you agree? Do you see the same thing? What kind of opportunities are there in tech in Croatia?
Loaded question, that one.
I love loaded questions.
In a way, we could say that the pandemic helped a little bit because of the whole need for digitalization of many things. So there has been a boom in recent years, but I think what people are unaware of, and even I myself was unaware of that before I started working for Split Tech City, is that this community and tech in Croatia has been steadily going on and growing as an industry for years. It's not so visible primarily because it's not the industry doesn't appear in mainstream media that much.
But because we have tourism.
Yeah, because we have tourism and everyone is pushing that storyline.
Yeah.
And overall, I think the perception of people outside of Croatia is that it's a beautiful country and it's nice over there in the summer, and that's where it all stops.
Yes. Well, there's waterfalls.
Yeah,
there's waterfalls. You can't forget the waterfalls.
But
yeah.
I saw a great comment to that the other day, which was in Castella Portal on the Facebook site, big up Castella, they were talking about the tunnel through Kosijek that's being built. Somebody was like, oh no, this will help with tourism, more and more people will come here, or it will be easier to get here. And one guy wrote, but that's not going to keep our young people here. They don't want to stay here working in the summer for this amount of money. They want to be here in cutting edge technology sectors, working year round.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, the thought is, oh, let's build a tunnel, it's good for tourism, which is okay, more and more all year round, but actually tech is already running year round. Like here we are in, what month are we in? February. Obviously this is turning now, 5 Question Friday, turning into locals and nomads. Nomads are mostly tech related, right?
Yes.
So they're coming here now. And then you have next week the startups meetup. Again, we'll have loads of people there talking about startups. Now, maybe there are events going around tourism at the moment, but
No.
I don't see anyone walking around. Okay, it's not the best of days for walking around, but the tech people are.
Yeah, exactly what he says. The tech people are here and have been here for years already. And in a way, Tony, who founded Split Tech City, saw the opportunity to kind of, we don't have space in mainstream media, let's just do our own thing. And let's just highlight what the community does, write about it, share those stories, and eventually it will come to the people abroad.
Yeah, and that's in English and in Croatian. So on the YouTube channel you have English videos, and on the website you have all the articles in English, and we have meetups in English. I say we.
Yeah.
You have meetups in English.
But yeah, generally, I mean, because let's face it, he was the first person who was writing for Split Tech City in English. So
Were you?
Yeah, I stole his job.
Yeah,
in a way.
These Croatians,
I
they
know.
come here.
They take foreigner jobs.
Terrible.
Well, okay. For those who live in Croatia, we have a problem with centralization in Zagreb. Everything is in Zagreb, and that's a big problem. There was an owner of a few tech businesses actually who's in Zagreb who really wants to move to Zadar and have his company there. That's where he's from. That's where he's most comfortable. He said there's just doesn't make sense with everything in Zagreb. Do you feel like there's an opportunity for Split to become its own tech hub? I mean, this is what you're focused on. Are you seeing any kind of...
It already is.
Yeah, it already is,
It already is. Just because...
why do we live here?
Yeah, why do we live here? And why do foreigners come here? Why did you come here? Why does any of those internationals that I interviewed on our podcast series, why did they come here?
And it'd be interesting to know why he doesn't feel like he can do it in Zadar. especially since lots of the tech companies here, their clients aren't here.
Yeah.
They're in America, they're in UK, they're in Zagreb, they're in Germany, they're in Austria, you know.
Yeah.
And they go to those places, you know, like actually, you know, on my LinkedIn feed, I have a lot of people working in tech, you know, it's like, I'm in Doha, I'm off to Abu Dhabi, I'm in America, like, they're always seeing their clients or going to expos everywhere. So, but when they come back here, this is their home. This is the place that they can have, what is the hashtag that split
the city lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, the sun, the sea, the work-life balance a little bit, and then you go and do your thing globally with whatever product or service you have going on. So, I mean, yes, it takes quite a lot of years to build a community like this. It takes years to build momentum in anything. That's true. Connect them. That's true. But that doesn't mean that. I mean, if the core of the people who started Split Tech City, if back then they said, "Oh, it's a lot of effort. Let's go live in Zagreb and not build anything here," Split wouldn't be here in terms of tech right now where it is. So my message for the guy from Zadar, go to Zadar, and then, I don't know, contact us, connect. Actually, we'll help you build the community.
And in Zadar, there's one guy, I can't remember his name, this is bad, but they have a co-working space and they have a tech hub and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do have a tech hub. They're gonna have
and in Bielgrad and Namoro, they also have one. So like, across the coast, in these smaller places, in Sisak, they have something, right?
They do.
In
There's an incubator.
You know, so...
In Šibenik they have Trakut as well.
Is there a robot talking over there all of a sudden?
Yeah. Okay. It's listening. It's tech. It's tech in Split. But actually, one of the things why people might feel like they're not being pulled to Zagreb is, for example, when you're thinking about investors, VCs, venture capitalists, selling funds, incubators, accelerators, there are more in Zagreb. So for example, there's one called Bird Incubator, it focuses on AI. You don't have to be in Zagreb to apply for it, but there isn't something like that in Split. So that might be why, you know, some people...
In their mind, they tend to like think about Zagreb, but like he said, there's an incubator there, but you don't have to be there because, let's face it, unless you are hardware, most of the companies are software, and you can do that from anywhere.
Yeah, and then when you are hardware, most of them won't have a factory near Zagreb anyway.
Yeah.
It will be somewhere else.
You can't.
In Zagreb or somewhere.
Exactly.
Well, the way that we battle that centralization is by not giving into it, doing things in other parts of the country, which is it's a huge opportunity. If everyone's going to Zagreb and you do something else, there's an opportunity for you to carve out your own little space. So that's on the back of what you just said about the opportunities there are in Zagreb. Let's say that doesn't matter where I live in Croatia, but I have an idea that's unique, that could scale. What should my first steps be to begin my startup, aside from the incorporation, but to find the resources, the communities, what should I do?
Well, it does depend on where you are. We can talk a lot more about Split, about what you can do, but there are normally some kind of programs going on in local areas, which could be linked to startups, it could be linked to business, and then within your community there'll always be, maybe they won't be called mentors, but there'll be people with some experience in the tech world, maybe in the startup world. Plus Croatia as a whole, I can reach out to people all over Croatia without really knowing them, and they'll always offer help. Not always, but most of them will, right?
Yeah.
So if you do have that idea, like first of all, expect people to shoot it down, for sure. Some people are scared that somebody might steal it, which they could do, but it's your idea, you interpret it how you want. But normally it's like, create something and test it. It's just an idea, you've got to move it to the next stage. Don't bother incorporating it until you have something to incorporate.
Sure. Not
just you, your idea needs to be something. And then when you have that kind of whatever it is, prototype or MVP, minimum viable product, then you can think about like the next step, which is either trying to get some funding, applying for competitions. There's always startup competitions in Croatia and Slovenia. I don't know where else people go. Austria maybe.
Yeah.
Serbia, some people go to Serbia. Maybe in Bosnia there's some, but I haven't seen many people go to Bosnia.
Yeah, there's
regional stuff.
But they do have in Terra their tech hub in Mostar, so that's also been coming up in recent years. as a scene. So it's not completely dead, you could say.
Yeah.
It's maybe not on the radar of mainstream media, but things have been happening.
Yeah, that's why we're here today, so we can share all those things that are happening with everybody, so that they can hopefully be inspired to do something themselves. Are there any programs in particular that stick out to you that you think are really special, or communities?
Well, I think the Split Tech community is good. Split Tech City community is good. It's growing every week. You seem to have a new member.
Yeah.
Something like that. Quite
Thanks
close as well. From the people I meet, again, always helpful when we're organising stuff, or when you're doing most of the organising. But they're all people always up for it.
Yeah.
You know? Unless they're crazy busy or they're not in the country, they're always up for supporting. So that's quite good. I know in Osijek they also have quite a strong community as well.
Do they?
Yeah. Then Rijeka and Varaždin also reached out to us to kind of connect and start building their own thing. So they did too. Maybe not on this scale, but it's been going on. It's not
Istria as well. I think
Istria as well. Though Istria kind of leans more towards digital nomads, naturally because of
I know, but they have a.
Yeah, they have Infobibs.
No, they have a. There's another community. I can't remember what the name of it. Istria. I can't remember, but there is one that isn't digital nomads. It's separate to that. There is also the digital nomad stuff. But that's for later.
Yes.
And then Zagreb, actually, surprisingly, I don't think Zagreb has like
not a community.
Not like
Really?
not like a formal association.
Yeah, they have a lot of things going on. Obviously, they have a lot of meetups, a lot of things happening, incubators as well. But in terms of having sort of a community that brings everything together, or a website such as the Tech City that has all the info and all going on, everything that's going on, it's on that website. They don't have that.
They have some really good like Neto Croatia, which isn't just about the startup community, it's about the tech
But they're
scene.
more like a media outlet already.
Yeah, for everything.
Yeah, it's not exactly a Nudruka.
And then you have like some co-working spaces there, like Hub 385, who are incubators, accelerators inside, or support mentoring inside, and they do really good jobs, and they have their own little community.
Yeah, but it's mostly like little bubbles throughout Zagreb. And there's nothing that brings all those bubbles together. Because even here there were sort of bubbles in the beginning. You know, these people were doing, I don't know, PHP, so they had their own meetup. These people were doing marketing, so they had their own meetup. So there were little bubbles, but now it's kind of more all brought together. Everyone still does their own thing. There are members, for the city members, companies that have their own meetups that are specific to the technologies they use, and that's great. But in a way, now they're all under the same sort of, let's say, blanket, so that everyone kind of tries to collaborate together. And sometimes when, for example, a company has a meetup, they cannot find a speaker, they reach out to us, then we connect them with someone from another company that's a good fit, and then they're a speaker at their event. So that's what a community offers. And for example, Zagreb doesn't have that.
Could we see a Zagreb Tech City in the future?
Maybe from the people up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like anywhere can do it. I think one of the things with Zagreb, obviously it's 5 times the size of Split, isn't it? So these smaller bubbles might actually be quite big bubbles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Whereas Split, you know, we've got a lot of tech companies for sure. We've got some really good ones with high revenue and stuff, and we have good startups. But yeah, it seems that this, as we know, one of the joys of living here is the community is quite close-knit, and it's easy for you to find out, okay, who is that person? Whereas in Zagreb, I think it's a bit looser. Yeah. There might even be a Dalmatian Zagreb tech community, you know, so they hang out with each other. Because when I used to BlaBlaCar, I'd always be either with people working in tech who went to Zagreb for that reason, like you said earlier, like, oh, we can't be in Imotski, we have to be in Zagreb because that's where everything's happening. So then I was like, oh, do you hang out with Dalmatians? And they're like, we hang out with people from Imotski, obviously. So who knows?
So they go away from Imotski to hang out with people from Imotski.
But in Zagreb.
But in Zagreb. Makes perfect sense. Instead of bringing everyone into Imotski and having an Imotski Tech City there.
one thing I'd like to add on is I feel like one benefit of having a company in Croatia, regardless of whether it's a startup or not, is that you have a better chance of being able to actually connect with people who have tons of experience if you have questions. You know, like people are much more approachable.
Yeah.
You could reach out on LinkedIn and talk to someone who's been in the game for 10 years, who has a startup or who has exited their company and ask them questions.
Yes.
Whereas in some larger pool in the UK or the US or Australia or something, it may be much harder to kind of get to those kinds of people.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm not sure how difficult. I think reaching out randomly in the UK would be one thing. But here it's even. I say one thing here is it's even easier not just to reach out with them, but to actually possibly even meet them, have a coffee with them. Yeah. Not always, because obviously people can't go for coffee with 100 people a week. But no, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and make a compelling pitch.
Yeah.
Show that you respect their time, and most likely you'll be able to get a coffee.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So at this point in our presentation, I want to do our lawyer tip of the week. So this is something that we started doing 3 weeks ago or so. So we have this big lawyer network across Croatia, and I talked to them individually to get little tips straight from them. And I spoke with one of our lawyers who specializes in corporate work and startups, and he actually had his own startup before he became a lawyer. And he gave me something to share with everybody today. So, straight from the horse's mouth, this is a direct quote. Think big and be prepared for success. If you have partners, define the roles, including how gains and debts will be handled from the very beginning. Use a lawyer to prepare a tailor-made shareholder agreement and the company registration materials to create a good foundation. Do not rely on the public notary. And he says this because when you start a company in Croatia, it is most likely going to be done at a public notary. If you're a Croatian citizen, you do have the option of doing it online. Everyone else has to do it at a public notary. Lastly, he says, if these initial steps are not taken properly, they can get in your way once the company starts to really grow. You and your partners can work and be friends, or they can become your worst nightmare.
Can you push? Sorry.
Yes. So yes, absolutely. It's important to make sure that you start off on the right foot, because if you do have partners, if you do build something together and it becomes really successful, if you don't have a good foundation, you can easily get in a huge legal fight that will cost you time and money.
And even before, like we mentioned, before incorporating, before you even have a company, if you start on one of this startup story, clearly, like, make sure it's clear in the beginning. Because at the moment I'm working loosely with 2 guys who I trust fully. I've known them for however many years now. But that's something that's one of the first things we need to do. To say who owns this, what are our roles going to be, are we going to put money in, if so, how much? And if everything goes to shit, then, we don't want another Social Network movie.
No.
Or do we? It depends which side we end up on, I guess.
Yes.
I'll be the Zuckerberg, you can be the other 2. Is that okay?
Is it okay that you're Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, completely.
I'm totally okay with not being him.
Okay.
Yeah, I can be the other person. Yeah. I'm alright with that. I'm alright with that.
Let's go to the notary public now.
Yeah.
They're not open, sorry, it's past 5:30. Hey.
Yeah.
Hello.
Find a notary that's open after 5 on a Friday. Good one. By the way, why do I have a feeling that's what Frano said?
What?
Is it Frano?
I don't think she works with Frano. No.
Oh,
No, it's not Frano. I don't know Frano. Well, I know Franos,
Yeah,
but we don't have a lawyer named Frano.
because he said he was actually on the startups meetup as a speaker.
As a lawyer.
Yeah, as a startup lawyer, and he said pretty much the same thing.
Oh, Frano Bodic.
Yeah.
I was at that meeting.
Similar, but yeah.
Yeah.
Badic.
Ah,
Yeah.
then I'm misremembering his last name. But yes, I was at that meeting.
Yeah.
And yes, he did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he was
good
doing
advice.
a thing on trademarks and copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an excellent.
That's what I was like.
Yeah.
Is this Frano?
Yeah. No, I actually would like to have him come and talk to FBOA sometime.
Well, he's around next week.
Around next week. Because he's coming to Startups Week.
Next Thursday.
Yeah. This is how it works, the community thing. Just so you know.
Wait, next Thursday is
No, that's not. Well, we have our informal chat next, yeah. Okay, so we have our last question. This came in from somebody out there who I think I saw actually is here watching.
Hi.
So perfect.
You can take this one.
Yeah, this one is for Nikolina.
Okay.
Are there any female entrepreneurs who run high-tech or blockchain companies in Croatia?
Blockchain companies. Okay, three words. Alice in Blockchains. That's an association. Look them up and you'll find the answer to this question there. They're amazing.
And the other one? That's the blockchain part, the other one.
Where they do have female entrepreneurs.
That's just in blockchain or not?
Well, I think the question says
High-tech
High-tech.
or blockchain?
well, isn't blockchain high tech?
Yes,
Yeah.
but not all high-tech is blockchain.
Yeah, I know. But generally speaking, do you know any female founders?
Well, I know
Yeah, high-tech. High tech.
Well, it depends what you call high tech. It depends
Yeah.
what you think high tech is.
I don't think.
Wait, what was the question?
Yeah. High
We
tech.
run high tech companies. Oh, well, we know ones that run tech companies. I don't know what high tech is.
I don't know
When I
what
think of
high
high
tech
tech, I
is
think
either.
of trainers. High tech trainers. But yeah, there are definitely in Split. We know a few. Going around to Zagreb. Well, we've got who's speaking at next week? Is she the founder?
No.
Okay.
She's the
Just-
CEO.
Okay, CTO, yeah. Not as many as there could be, but also there's lots of female entrepreneurship organizations.
There
Yeah.
are. We have a post with a list of all of them. So if you would like that, send us a DM. We'd be more than happy to send that over to you.
And as we know, STEM generally, science, tech, engineering, and maths, has a high uptake when young girls are in their early teens, and then as they hit their late teens, they're discouraged to carry on with a lot of that stuff, and therefore that's why you have the dropout at university, especially in those areas.
And that's why we have our Women in Tech meetup to try to prevent that.
Yes.
To keep those, yeah, because there are some young young women, I guess they are, I don't know, teens who could be one of these high tech or blockchain female entrepreneurs, but they need to have that support and that kind of representation around them to carry on. Otherwise, you do end up just being a few of the first meetups I went to. It was just a sausage fest. Like it was just men. So you've got to have that representation for everyone. So,
Absolutely.
and that's what I know. Both of you are involved in that stuff. So.
All right. So we're at the end now. Is there anything that we have not talked about related
Yes.
to?
Related to what?
Startups, investment, incubation, bananas, anything that...
Oh.
Yeah,
Bananas.
bananas.
Close. There is a question which is, what is in Sarah's bottle?
Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, both him and I brought unmarked plastic bottles with us today.
Yeah, I figured you will. So I brought the marked ones.
That's your empty glass? That's your empty cup here. I know it's not empty. This is your
This is fig.
fig. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Okay.
Bought
nice.
in the garage in Cashville.
We can
Oh,
work with
yes,
that.
down in the garage. In Lugsic, just near Be Cool, on the offset, back in the road, opposite the beach. That one.
Correctamundo, yes.
Oh, I know my
Sorry, this
moonshine.
bottle's a little sloppy.
Voila.
I'm not doing this nicely or evenly.
It's fine, it just went on your lawyer tip of the week.
I'm just gonna lick my hand.
Lawyer tip of the week, just got drunk.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone at home, have a good weekend.
Yes, cheers, Julie.
Julie.
Uzdravlje.
Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Whew.
Nice, light, fruity, figgy.
Tastes like fig. Yeah,
Very
Powerful
figgy.
stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Look at the foreigners drinking this, not like bottoms up. God.
That's not how you drink it, sorry. I'm a rakia connoisseur. I have a flask with rakia connoisseur on it.
Then it must be true.
Yeah. It's engraved.
Oof.
It's still live.
All right, I think I have to wipe off the racket before I can hit.
Saludos.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Vidimo, say ciao.